Hey everyone, it is January 31st, and today's reading is from Exodus chapter 4 through 6. I'm Nathan, and
I'm Beau.
This is Beau, and Beau has been one of the leading advocates in our house for reading every day and watching these videos, and he's even been eager to help make a video, and so I thought there's a couple reasons why today is a great day for Beau to help out. One of them is just because it's the first time anyone in our house has made one of these. But our text in Exodus chapter 4 in particular, tell us a little bit about what happens, Beau, in Exodus chapter 4.
In Exodus chapter 4, God came in a fire bush, and Moses came over to it, and he said, "Throw down your staff on the ground," and then the staff turned into a snake.
Yeah. So in Exodus 3, the burning bush happened, and in Exodus 4, Moses basically says to God, what if God's people won't believe Moses that God has sent me to them? And instead of focusing on the weaknesses of Moses, God, as he often does, even for us, God shows why he is worth being trusted. It's not so much, the emphasis is not on Moses' weakness, but on God's power. Beau and I each have a great fear and disdain of what? He can't even say the word, snakes. And so neither of us like snakes, but God chooses to show his power to Moses by Moses throwing his staff on the ground, turning into a snake. And then what's the second sign that he tells Moses to do?
God tells Moses to put his hand into his pocket, and then when he takes it out, it's all white and snowy. But whenever he puts it back in, it's just like all of his other skin.
Yeah. And so God uses these miraculous things to show Moses. There's a third miracle, and that's him throwing water on the ground and it becoming water from the Nile and it becoming blood. So God uses all these things to show Moses, hey, I'm worthy of being trusted. You may have great weakness, Moses, but God says, I don't have great weakness. I will lead you through this. And so then Moses, he's fled Egypt because he killed the Egyptian earlier. And so now he finally musters up the courage to go back to Egypt, and he gets his father-in-law's blessing to do that. Goes to Egypt. It's crazy story. God kind of ends up wanting to kill him. We see, and then that interesting scene there towards the end. And another thing that God does for Moses is he provides Moses with his brother, Aaron. And so Aaron joins up with Moses, and Aaron becomes kind of the mouthpiece for Moses and speaks to the people on behalf of Moses, or instead of Moses, on behalf of God, and the people believe him and they worship. They realize, wow, they have really spoken with God. They've heard from God. And so then Moses and Aaron go into Pharaoh, and God had told them, you're going to go to Pharaoh, and Pharaoh's not going to listen to you. And so that's exactly what happens. In fact, Pharaoh doesn't only fail to listen to them, he gets more angry. And he becomes very unjust towards the people of God and makes them work even harder, and basically requires them to do as much work as they were doing with less resources. And so that's a pretty interesting hardening of Pharaoh's heart in this whole thing. And then we get to chapter 6, and man, I'm gonna kind of have to go back and review this just a little bit. One of the things that God does continually through this is he continually calls his people's attention back to the covenant that he made with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, which for the Israelite people was a very significant thing. That was something that would have immediately resonated with them, that he is their God. And so if he's Abraham's God, he is our God. And so we get this genealogy, and Moses continues to tell the Israelites who God is and what he's doing. And then we get to the end of chapter 6, and Moses comes again with this question but Moses replied in the Lord's presence, since I am such a poor speaker, how will Pharaoh listen to me? He just continues to doubt God's ability and God's power, and God continues to show himself faithful. There are so many things that we could have explored today, but kind of the theme that sticks out to me in this is God's steady provision and God's ability or power, however we want to refer to it, in spite of our weakness. So many times we may look at a situation and feel hopeless because we think based on our own resources and based on our own strength, how could we ever endure? But God continually points his people's minds back to him, back to his faithfulness and his worthiness of being trusted. And so, Beau, any closing comments?
No.
No? Okay. Well, thanks for watching today, church family, and those who are maybe visiting this page. Very grateful to be reading along with you and studying God's word with you. Thank you to all who have helped my family understand and read God's word more clearly through this time. So keep on.